Welcome. So we've talked about power sets. Now let's add a concept called paradoxes. So paradoxes in reality is something that the existence of something is a contradiction. Therefore, it doesn't exist. So why the heck do we talk about it? Now, paradoxes are always really bad situations. Or a way to think about them is they're essentially a contradiction and beautifully done, and they cause all these problems. So the most famous of paradoxes, this is from Russell, and it's the idea of what's called the barber of Seville. So in Seville, there is a barber who shaves all those men and only those men who do not shave themselves. Who shaves the barber? See, if the barber shaves himself, then he's a contradiction because he can only shave those men who do not shave themselves. So he cannot shave himself, or else he breaks the fact that he does not shave people who do not shave themselves, who shave themselves. However, if he doesn't shave himself, then the barber must shave himself because he shaves all the men who do not shave themselves. So this statement is a complete contradiction. It is a classic one, and it's one of many. So we're going to look at some paradoxes, and these are kind of fun because you're trying to figure out, why is this a constant contradiction? Why is this statement always false? No matter how you slice it, it does not work. It's impossible. So to understand that paradox, it's actually this idea of sets of sets. And this is where Russell actually took it. And he talked about the fact that, let's let U be the set of all possible sets. All right, now let's look at the power set of U. What about the power set of the power set of U? Because the problem is, so I'm going to give you an example. Again, proofs by example don't exist, but I want to help you illustrate. So let's suppose that all the sets in the world was, for some reason, finite, and we'll just say it's sets A, B, C, and so forth. That is the sets of all in the world. So that's U. What's the power set of U? Well, obviously, it's going to include all of these sets because they are sets of the world, and all the sets including these. So the set that includes A is also in here, the set that includes B, and all these other things. So this is actually going to have everything in U is going to be in here because they're all sets. But it also has to have, U has to be within itself. But U is not inside of here because that's not possible for U to be inside it. It can't be an element inside itself. And what about the power set? Well, the power set is now going to, and also this is include all this. So this is where it starts getting crazy. So it actually has the set U, and this is where it just gets really, really weird and crazy. And the power set of the power set would be even crazier because it's still going to create a bigger set. In case you haven't noticed this, a power set is always produces more sets of something. But so the power set of all sets is going to create sets of all sets of all sets, which is a bigger set. But that's not inside of U, therefore U is a contradiction. So that is the massive problem that we get with this contradiction. So contradictions are all about trying to figure out why the heck they don't work. See, again, U, the set of all sets, that means that U has to be inside of it. But if U is inside of itself, then what is the set that includes U with every, so U can't be an element within itself, and that's where we get this massive contradiction. Sorry, I'm just kind of repeating myself, but it really is kind of this interesting idea that I remember the first time I saw it, it just kind of blew my mind. It's like, wait, yeah, you're right, that doesn't work. Because we're talking about these massive infinite concepts. Now, truthfully, this is where we get into something called category theory. And that's actually where Russell took it when he worked on this problem. He took this into an area of math called category theory. It is like set theory on steroids. So it is really crazy. We're not going to do it in this class. But if you're curious, that is what that's where we deal with this idea and how we get it even bigger. We'll get this idea of what's something called a category, and that's even a bigger concept than sets. So we kind of get around stuff. So for this discussion board, I want you to pick two of the paradoxes. Now, these are in your textbook. You can look them up. And when you look at them, there are five different paradoxes that I think are kind of interesting. I really do actually like them. The liar's paradox is honestly the shortest of them all. Makes sense. Librarian's paradox is interesting. Berries and the naming numbers paradox are good. I really do also like this. I can't even pronounce those Greek names. Euathalus and Protagoras. They're it's about a lawyer and offering to teach someone how to be a lawyer to win money. So it's this interesting twist using rhetoric and concepts. A big idea about this, by the way, in case you're not picking up, is that definitions are critical, and how we define what certain situations are become bigger and bigger and bigger. And in paradoxes, one of the great things about paradoxes, we have to go back to what is the actual definition of something. How we define it is just going to be so big. Now we're going to continue on, but I wanted to kind of just tweak this a little bit because this paradox idea becomes really valuable. We're going to talk a little more about indexing of sets next week. I'll go on to the next section in your book. We'll try to wrap up all the stuff on sets next week with indexing of sets and looking at how those end up playing out in the long run. All right. Post your answers to this. Sorry I've got this up late. And let me know what questions you have. I really do want to know. Send me an email if you're really struggling or something else, and we'll get this done.